Well, here we are, everybody, coming to the final episode of the very different 1 week club for VIXX. So we're going to be starting off today with Secret Night, and I just have to say, I've been very thankful. I feel very thankful for the patience and the understanding of the situation that occurred. So I just want to say thank you for that, because that was a little bit of a different time for sure. So anyway, my name is Aaron. If you're new here, I hope you try to love the music that you already like. And today we are wrapping up VIXX. We have a lot to cover this week as well. So we anyway, let's check this out, shall we? I thought he was just coughing.
Let's get higher.
Whoa! Nice.
점점 더 강하게 그럼에 저 버릇해 너는 콜럼버스 내게 신대륙을 선사한 사랑의 개척자 You're beautiful my lady 새빨간 실루엣 평범한 거부한 밤 뜨겁게 rak아와 Beautiful my lady 너와 은밀하게
Hey, this is pretty good.
너에게 지배당한 내 몸의 주위를 이제 내가 아닌가 You're my beautiful my lady 새빨간 시스에 잠도 날카로운 밤 다시 돌아가와 Beautiful my lady 좀 더 은밀하게 비밀의 춤을 추다 잠에 들겠어 모르는 이 누굴까 이 향기 속에 춤나 달콤한 사랑의 글래코 파이거 달고 잠든 이 밤 나와 몰래 떠나 사로잡아
Getting pyro on this?
사로잡아 내 몸을 감싸 날 느끼게 시간이 날아나 시간이 날아나 은밀한 싱크날
Nice switch up.
시간이 날아나 시간이 날아나 은밀한 싱크날 너와 난 둘이 떠나 둘이 하나가 된 너와 비밀의 사이 너와 태양과 달조차 모르는 사람 흔적 하나 없는 영원한 secret night 사로잡아 내 몸을 감싸 날 느끼게 사로잡아 내 몸을 감싸 날 느끼게
Wow, with the big rock finish and everything. Nice. That's good. That's good. There's a couple things that really work here. Obviously, rock on this channel always makes me feel a little bit more at home. But the way that what I really like is I just like how the song was structured, and I think a lot of this just I think that a lot of this just has a lot taken into account for what needs to be done. I'll show you something that I thought was, I think I'm there.
제법 딱딱하게 굳은 나의 온몸을 요리하는 그녀만의 랩 점점 더 강하게 그럼에 저 버릇해 너는 콜럼버스 내게 신대륙을 선사한 사랑의 개척자 You're my beautiful my lady 새빨간 실루엣 평범한 거부한 밤 뜨겁게 rock and roll Beautiful my lady 너와 은밀하게 비밀의 춤을 추다 장난질했어 너무나 네 얼굴과 이 향기 속에 취해
Yeah, okay, very good, very good, very good. if I keep going, I'll just end up finishing the whole song again. A couple things that I really like is right here at the very beginning when you see Robbie. By the way, what an entrance. See, this is the little details that I always like that they do a lot. If you listen to the guitar, at the very beginning, it's doing just kind of this like heavy, chunky riff. By the way, I love the coughing.
Let's get higher.
Right? Now, the interesting thing is when it switches over to his solo part right here, they're doing that thing again that I really like that they do with LR, which is having one theme pitched really high and one theme pitched low. So he's pitched low, obviously, because it's Robbie. But also the idea of having the guitar playing this kind of creepy corn-esque kind of riff on top of it, giving it this nice, resonance between the two of them. Dark and mysterious. I love that. So also too, one thing I really like is that they do a lot of small interesting runs throughout. Like for example right here.
Let's get higher.
Like that's so cool because at first you get just like the normal song, right? And then he does like this descending thing. He ends going up though. That's kind of cool. The guitar work. Yeah. And then like, it's just little things like that throughout that just really make the song really unique. And I think that it's actually a lot of fun at how they handle the rock genre. I love that too. Like right there, there's a lot of like do 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 do, or like I kind of just really think that, especially right here, characterizes a lot of the song. There's a lot of kind of like that going on, but then you got that where it's like na 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 na. Like I don't know. The song is using a lot of texture throughout the whole song, and the nice thing is too is that they really paired the electric guitar and the drums, quite honestly, to a very solid effect. And I don't know if this is actually how it originally sounds. If this is how it sounds on the album, that's cool. The other thing that I think I really like too is that they kind of have this nice switch up right here. What? And this is like one thing that I feel like a lot of times, especially when it comes to drumming, I feel like people don't understand how much of the feeling of the song comes from the drums. And because like throughout the song, da boom da boom da boom da boom da boom da boom, right? But like when we get to this part, he switches, the drummer switches to kind of like this really fast rhythm on the hi-hat. Oh, looks like I need to go back. Then he returns back. Very, very cool. See, that's the thing, is like there's so much going on here. There's so much texture. I really like this song. This song's actually super sick. Now we're in this already 11 minutes. But anyway, let's move on to the next song, and we'll keep going. Next, we are doing a dance practice. Parallel. Indeed, indeed. And the last one that we did, they had a much, much tinier room. So we got some space now. We got some space. They moved up in life and in studio. So this is nice to see them with a proper practice place. So very good indeed. I appreciate the fact that they're getting proper room, at least a little bit more proper. Very formation. That's an interesting shirt. Nice. That's a kind of a cool shirt. Very relaxed, very chill. Nice. Okay. Well, honestly, the truth is this whole song itself is a little bit more lax. It's a little bit more, kind of more of a relaxed flow state. To me, this is definitely a formation, and there's a couple of spots that they get to for sure, but I don't know if I'd really call this like a super crazy, what's the word? I don't know if I'd really call this like a set piece kind of choreography, but there's a couple spots, but mainly formation, and I feel like that a lot of it kind of trying to portray that lax feel that kind of, goes from one spot to the next in kind of a calm manner. The thing that's kind of tricky about that, if I'm being honest, is like sometimes trying to pretend to be relaxed does not come across very well at all. So I think that's one thing that you always have to be careful about. Like, it's always so weird because, like, yes, performance is very demanding, and especially like with high octane choreography and vocals and the whole idea behind it. But the thing that I find really interesting is, like, as is with everything, a lot of times the best way to be able to do this is to be relaxed. And so, like, to portray relaxed while trying to be relaxed is sometimes, like I said, it can get a little tricky. But I do think that they do a pretty good job with it. I think there's a couple of spots here that I think is like, oh, that's a little clever. Most of the time it's footwork that I kind of more associated myself with the song. I thought that was kind of nice. Kind of, like I said, just like trying to get that chill vibe down. I think they do a pretty good job. See, if the legs don't kind of have that jelly-like feature, then I think that a lot of ways it's going to probably not allow those arm movements and strikes and poses to be able to come off quite as well. So they do a really good job, and I think they do come across as pretty relaxed. I mean, obviously, I kind of call this out a lot, but like Robbie is really good at that kind of stuff. He kind of has that low-key kind of vibe to his performance, and so it kind of really comes through most off through him, especially. So yeah, this is a solid piece. I feel like that this is really well balanced with kind of having those moments that are slightly tricky, but in reality, I think that the nice thing is just the fact that it doesn't feel forced is a huge plus, very huge plus. As for the song itself, I think it's fine. Probably not something that I would go out and seek personally, but I would not be mad if it was on. But dance practice is a lot of fun, though. I actually really think that this dance practice is kind of fun. So yeah, very cool, very good. I think it's time to move on. Let's check out the final song of the day, end of the 1 week club. This has been super awesome. Again, definitely different circumstances. But, I think this comes at a good time. I think that, honestly, like, I sit here and think about this, and we have, like, new VIXX coming soon. I mean, they've already had their first concert back as a group, and I think by the time that they can get new music prepared and mixed and, like, ready to release and get ready for the comeback, I actually think we get the full four anyway. Obviously, they're down a couple members, and I don't know if they'll ever return, but I think that we will be able to at least get, the remaining members that can. I do think that all four that can come back by the time that everything's ready to come out. I think so. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye out on VIXX for sure, because I think this has been super cool. And I think this has been a really cool eye-opening experience, especially for a group like VIXX. I have this thing that, like, because there are such successful groups, we can bring up, like, SHINee, BTS, EXO, Stray Kids, ATEEZ, all these groups, that I feel like that there's a whole sub-base of groups and idols that kind of that become very underappreciated. And I feel like that VIXX is definitely in there. I was talking about this with someone the other day. For me personally, like, I think about some of the most underrated groups that I put in there without even thinking about VIXX first and foremost, but I think VIXX would belong in there. Like Infinite, BAP, those groups, and then VIXX, like all very underrated and underappreciated. So anyway, we are doing Amnesia for the final song. I've been holding this off specifically for this. Let's check it out. Whoa.
질이 나쁜 네 꿈 But like it 비틀린 touch 굴절된 love 너의 시작과 끝 All is me 다 잊어 Just a look back 안과 밖이 섞인 듯 매듭처럼 엮인 her 나로 채워 모든 틈
This is cool.
We're falling in time over again and again 구원해 이 왜곡된 기억 속 나 왜 다른 don't forget I got amnesia 비틀린 채 이어지는 connection 거부해도 끌려가는 내내 네 기억을 가져가 내 손에 널 take it 어떤 너도 traceable 내겐 ain't no problems though 다른 한순간도 너 웃겨봐 미소 over again and again 언제든 이 달콤한 낭만 속 나 위해 모든 건 다 fit I got amnesia 비틀린 채 이어지는 connection 거부해도 끌려가는 magnet
Whoa.
간절한 꿈 그 안을 헤매는 날 리본을 내 손가락 끝 춤추는 you 마주하는
So dramatic.
하나보다 하나 같은 connection 이 사랑의 끝이 없길 원해 네 기억을 가져가 내 손에 널 take it
Wow. That was a great song. That's a really, really cool song. You know what's really funny? I have to admit this, okay? I feel like every single group has like their own concepts. They all have their own ideal of like what they want to present visually. But in the end, I feel like especially boy groups, this will eventually be a concept. Tell me that I'm wrong. Like, think about this, okay? Infinite has a music video that kind of looks like this. ATEEZ has a kind of a visual like this. There's a couple of others that have this kind of Ilhoon from B2B. He had a music video that looked kind of like this. I think NCT, I think even had one like this. And I think Luna did. The girl group Luna. So like, is there one overarching theme that everyone must cover? No, I'm kidding. But I honestly though, I really dig this like whole vibe. The song is really cool too because it's very bass led, and you know, using the other instruments is kind of like this really soft touch is really, really cool.
We're falling in time over again and again. 구원해
I love the instrumentation in this. It's really cool. I really think that they just really nailed that feel. I think that this song could actually be a favorite. I really appreciate how they handle this song. Again, it's that dramatic, but like in a sense, this could be like a book or a movie almost kind of feel, you know? And to me, I just think that this really suits them as how they are vocally speaking, both whether it's the rap or the, actual vocal singing. There's a lot going on here that I feel like that really kind of helps them out and shows like what their strengths are. This is really cool. So anyway, we wait for with bated breath on new VIXX. I think that this has been a great week that has allowed me to kind of check out I think a very underrated group that deserves more love and respect nowadays, especially. But it is what it is, isn't it? Anyway, I think this has been just a phenomenal time getting to know this group, and a few extra days never hurt nobody, right? Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Obviously, we're going to keep our eyes to the ground and our ears to the ground and our eyes upward for new VIXX. So, very cool, very cool. Thank you all so much. I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did. I cannot thank you enough for the support that I've received this week, especially. This was definitely a stressful time to go through what had happened with the computer kind of deciding to delete itself, I guess. Anyway, I appreciate it though. It's kind of these reasons why I do what I do. A lot of the times I feel like I could be having a bad day, but like with talking with you, hanging out in the music and kind of discussing the finer points of the music has been just honestly so helpful. Thank you all so much, though, for real. I am always just so baffled at how this little channel that's still relatively small can be such a refuge for me personally. And I love it. I really do. And you all make it so much and worth it. So anyway, thank you all so much. We'll see you in the next video. Oh, Monster X comes back Monday. Keep your eyes open for Monster X. Oh,